The tension started before the plane even left the gate. A woman in a soft blue hijab sat quietly in seat 14A, adjusting the strap of her bag. She didn't know that within the next hour, an ordinary flight would turn into a moment the entire cabin would remember forever. Across the aisle, a man stood with his arms crossed. Loud enough for half the plane to hear, he said, "I'm not sitting next to her." The cabin fell silent. Eyes turned. Someone began recording. And just when the situation was about to spiral out of control, the captain walked in. Her name was Amina. She was a 29-year-old graduate student traveling to see her sister. Amina loved flying, the quiet hum of the engines, the way cities turn into stars beneath the clouds. She always chose the window seat. It made her feel at peace. But she also knew wearing a hijab in public often made her visible in ways she didn't ask to be. Before boarding, she texted her sister, "I'm on my way, love, can't wait to see you." She had no idea her seat would become the center of the flight. As boarding finished, a man in his 50s, tall, with a stern jaw and baseball cap, reached row 14. He looked at Amina. His face changed. He turned to the flight attendant. "I'm not sitting next to her. Find me another seat." Amina lowered her eyes. She'd seen this before. The attendant, taken aback, tried to explain there were no extra seats. "Then I'm not sitting down. I'm not sitting next to someone like that." The words sliced through the cabin like ice. Some passengers pretended not to hear. Others stared in quiet disbelief. A woman in 15C shook her head slowly. The young flight attendant tried to calm him. "Sir, everyone is entitled to their seat. Please." "No, I don't want to sit next to a terrorist." The word hit like a slap. Amina's hands tightened around the seatbelt. She didn't say a word. She didn't have to. Every insult was something she had heard before. But this time it wasn't whispered. It was announced to the entire cabin. A teenage boy in 13B glanced at her, guilt in his eyes. An older woman whispered, "That's not right." But no one moved. Not yet. Within minutes. The entire front section of the plane was buzzing. Some passengers pulled out their phones. Others exchanged nervous glances. The attendant radioed the front of the plane. "We need the captain." Amina took a deep breath. She had been through worse. But something about the silence around her, the stillness, made the moment heavier. The curtain at the front of the cabin opened. The captain, a woman in her 40s, firm and calm, walked down the aisle. Her boots echoed on the floor. She stopped in front of a man, who still stood stubbornly. "Sir, is there a problem?" "Yeah," he spat. "I'm not sitting next to her." The captain didn't flinch. She turned to Amina with a soft nod, acknowledging her without words. Then back to the man. "I see. Well, in that case, sir, I'll need you to step off my aircraft." The man's jaw dropped. "What?" "I paid for my ticket." "And she paid for hers," the captain replied evenly. "On this flight, we don't move people for bigotry. If you refuse to take your seat, you're not flying." The man looked around for support, but the cabin had shifted. A woman in 12C spoke up. "She's done nothing wrong." A young father added, "Sit down or get off." Then something powerful happened. Passengers began clapping, not because they were angry, because they were done being silent. The man's bravado crumbled. He grabbed his bag and stormed off the plane, muttering under his breath. The cabin erupted in applause again, louder this time. The captain looked at Amina. "You have absolutely nothing to apologize for. Enjoy your flight." For the first time since boarding, Amina exhaled. The plane took off. The air felt lighter. Amina stared out the window at the soft blue horizon. A woman beside her leaned over. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that. You didn't deserve it." Amina smiled softly. She didn't need speeches. This moment, the captain standing firm, the passengers uniting, said everything. By the time they landed, the video had already gone viral. Millions watched a simple act of leadership and courage. It wasn't about making headlines. It was about reminding the world that dignity doesn't need permission.